Mesechas C'irovin, Perik Vov, Mishnah Daled. Me'en Musai Nosnin Rishus. One who is mevatel his rishus in the chotzer to the other members of the chotzer, when can you do that bittul rishus? Beishamai omrim mibe'od yom. You can only be mevatel rishus before Shabbos comes in. Then the bittul rishus helps, because Beishamai are of the opinion that the bittul rishus works midin kinyan, and you can't make it a kinyan on Shabbos itself. There's an issa to make a kinyan on Shabbos. Either gezerom mishum mekach or memka, or gezerom you might come to write. Whatever the reason is, you cannot make kinyonim on Shabbos, and therefore you can only do the bittul rishus mibe'od yom. Beis Hillel omrim, Beis Hillel say mishech hashecho, that not only can you do bittul rishus from before Shabbos, but you can even do it. Means mishech hashecho means also after Shabbos comes in. Beis Hillel hold that the bittul rishus is not a kinyan. The bittul rishus is a siluk, that he withdraws his access to the chotzer, and therefore that's not considered to be a kinyan, and that is permitted to do on Shabbos itself. Misha nosan rishusay, one who gave his rishus, in other words, he's mevatel his rishus, v'hotzi, then subsequently he ignored his bittul rishus, and on Shabbos itself was motzi from his bias to the chotzer, indicating that he still regards himself as an owner, and therefore he has invalidated his bittul rishus. Bein b'shogeg, bein b'mezid, whether he did it deliberately or whether he just forgot that he had no access, he had no rights of access to the chotzer because he's already been mevatel rishus. Hareza oser divrei Rabbi Meir, that in effect breaks his bittul rishus, and now his bittul rishus is invalid, in which case he asks on other members of the chotzer from carrying in the chotzer because he hasn't made an eruv together with them. Rabbi Yehuda Omer b'mezid oser, if he were to subsequently do an action which would indicate that he's not holding with his bittul rishus, then certainly that would asa. However, if the other members of the chotzer, as we had in the Mishnah earlier, in the Mishnah of Rabbi Gamliel, if the other members of the chotzer would in fact be machzik the chotzer in the sense of not a proper chazaka, but they would be motzi their kelim from the bias to the chotzer before the other person has a chance to be mevatel his rishus, in which case that would stop the other person being mevatel, going back on his bittul rishus. It would be too late to go back on the bittul rishus, and therefore, even if b'mezid subsequently that person, individual, would go back on his bittul rishus by being motzi into the chotzer, we would ignore that because the rabbim, the other members of the chotzer, had already endorsed by being the bittul rishus by, in fact, being motzi from the bias into the chotzer. B'shogeg ein osa, and says Rabbi Yehuda, if b'shogeg the person who is mevatel his rishus goes back on his bittul rishus by being motzi from his bias into the chotzer, but he did it inadvertently, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that wouldn't asa, and the bittul rishus stands, and the other members of the chotzer would still be allowed to be motzi from their batim into the chotzer, and the halacha is like Rabbi Yehuda.